Hey everyone, I'm Jason, more commonly known as Chessically Inclined, and today we're doing part 2 of the tactics speedrun. Last stream, I streamed for about an hour 45 minutes and got rated 2834. I was hoping for 3,000 but didn't manage it, and today we're going to see how high we can go. So I'm going to start the speedrun clock, and let's get going. Alright, so White just played knight to b1. And I gotta figure out what to do against that. He's attacking my knight, he's attacking my rook, and I gotta do something about that, obviously. But what? I believe, yeah, I have to go here, and now I'm thinking king to b3. If he has to take on a5, I win. If he doesn't, I check on d2. If rook b5, bishop b4, and he's got the same dilemma. Okay. King h1. I need to break through, so I'm going to need to do something with my knight. So what combination of queen to h3 and knight g4 am I going to have to do? Well, for starters, I know I'm going to take an h3. Now, if I go queen g3, king f1, knight g4, king e2, queen f2, king d3, I believe white escapes. So I have to go knight g4. You check, I escape, queen e5, and I take your queen. G takes at h4. Okay. Temporary stream problem. G takes at h4. Now, should I start with queen takes h4, king g1, and now I guess I could play something like rook h6, threatening rook to queen to h1. So white would have to play like rook h2, but then I have rook g8. That looks really promising. Also, I don't think I'm going to play anything up in this anyway. Now, before I continue, I'm going to recap and see if I have any other candidates. Bishop h3 is one option, but I think white will just be able to defend that. I'm gonna try... Should I try rook h6? Because it gives white the opportunity to bring something else in. Or do I have something else, like rook f1? King takes f1, queen h1. King e2. I don't think so. Okay, that worked. Alright, so knight c3. Do I check on h4? Queen h4 check. You have to go king g6, and then what? It's not really clear. Perhaps queen g4 and rook d7. Shocking. Flying sheep ate my homework. Never have thought that. Sorry about that, though. Cavities suck. Alright, I'm going to start out with queen h4. King g6. And now queen g4 with rook d7. I mean, it's not really clear what else I can do. I mean, maybe a rook d4, but knight e4 for one thing threatens queen c1. Okay. Insomnia does too. Yeah, ouch. I believe I should play for a win with rook d7. Wait a minute, it might actually be best to go for perpetual because rook d7, queen e5 is annoying. Yeah, I don't see a win here for white. I'm gonna go for the draw while I have it. And apparently there was a win. Check, queen g4, rook d7, queen e5, yep. Queen h4, Wait, does that win? King G6. Oh, it protects E1. Okay, I got it. I got it. Missed that one. Okay, so here I'm down the exchange. So I should be trying to checkmate black. I mean, as usual. But how am I going to do that? Probably with E6. That seems very promising. If he takes the bishop or the queen, I can take on F6 check. If he goes F takes E6, I can play rook G1. It's tempting to just take the bishop, but rook G1 is just so much stronger. And once you realize you're already down in exchange, it would just restore material equality, and it isn't really that great. So king G8, and now I believe rook E7. Queen E5. It's queen F7 first. You give me a free queen and expect me not to take it. This is ridiculous. Bishop H6. No, I believe it's bishop B5. But not now. I check first. Okay, I thought this was winning in view of king E8 like C7 check, but apparently there's something better. Bishop takes. Yeah, that's just mate. Can't believe I didn't look at that. And it's back rank mate despite white's 7-pawn slight edge. I have that one memorized, that's why it didn't take me too long. Okay, knight F... Oh, okay, so I remember this one as well. You threaten F2, he takes, and you got a double threat against G2. And the rook. Rook 2900, just a couple more rating points to go. By a couple, I mean 100. It's not easy. Okay, I need to put the rook somewhere where his attack will be useless. Rook B8 probably, but then, yeah, rook E8, bishop B4, king C1. I don't want to allow rook B8 with an exchange of rooks. Rook takes F6. Check, and I get your bishop too. If I just took on F6, the exchange isn't necessarily a winning advantage. However, a full extra piece with him having nothing but a king is. Okay, so I want to check on B8, king H8, queen takes F7. Rook D1, king G2. And black has no checks. Except like rook E1, sacrificing a rook for nothing. Instead I have to worry about queen E1 check. King G2. Queen E4 check. Can I go F3 there? Queen E2, yeah, no I can't. Only 9,000 points to go. Yeah, I'm not memorizing all the puzzles. It's pointless. There's no reward for being the highest ranked player. Check. King H7, queen takes F7, queen E1 check. Ah, I can just go king H2. My queen's protecting F2. Wait, was it better to allow queen E4 first? I guess so, because that means he doesn't have rook takes H5 and queen takes F2. I think I'm... Wait, I'm actually not winning after that. He's got a perpetuals. Wow. Alright, I think I got this. So you gotta cut off the king's escape route. And then you got... Wait. If I play F4... I don't think that wins. He just takes and plays rook F7. So I gotta do this. Okay, so I believe I remember this one, if I remember correctly. It's something like queen takes F7. I know it starts with queen takes F7. Now, bishop F6, king C7. Bishop E5 doesn't work. Queen f6 is also, isn't it? I believe it is bishop e5. Then check bishop d6. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I can win a rook virtuich, but I've already sacrificed both my rooks on a1 and h1, so I wouldn't even be restoring material equality. I need to go for mate in that case. Alright, so this one... Hey, Celtic Frost. How are you? We're gonna see if we can win the queen somehow. That's usually the goal of these types of puzzles. Yeah, Queen c7. No problem, Virtuich. Glad to help. Queen c7, King e6, and I don't really see anything, which isn't great. Similar story with Knight f7, King c5. Queen f8, King c4, and yeah, I've got a lot of checks, but I'm just driving the king to safety. Thank you, Play the Grop, for that inspirational quote. And hi. So this seems a little bit tricky. I think I remember it. Okay, so I go knight d3, threatening queen to d7 mate. He goes queen h3, I go king d8. And now I check, 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 and win the queen. There aren't once you spot the main idea, there aren't too many variations. I mean, you're just threatening mate, he's forced to defend, and it's just hard to not check when your king's that open. Alright, so we've got another interesting puzzle. White... The question here is, can I take on d7? If I can take on d7, and it works, I'm winning. Rook takes d7. If he takes the king, then everything's good. I just take on b7 with check, and it's like rook d1 coming, and black's mated. If he takes on b8, then I check on e7. Thank you, Celtic Frost Idiot, for gifting. Thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to Virtuich. Shit. Yes, but I've got a lot of time, so you can spend it on this. Rook takes d7, queen takes b8, rook e7 check. If king f8, rook takes f7, king e8, rook e7 check, king d8, knight f7 check, king c8, knight e8, d6 check, and you have to give up your queen. Similar case here. Alright, rating pending. Okay, I get 1 rating point from that. So, I mean, I've escaped losing points a lot of times to that, so same policy regarding problems with an unfinished rating, so I can't really complain. If I go queen b5, the queen b5 is obviously the move to consider. It just, like, attacks everything at once. And what can he do? Bishop d7, queen takes b4, d takes e5, bishop c5. Okay. Takes c5. Okay, that's a challenging move. Now what do I do? So I can take en passant, which makes some sense. Wait a minute, I think... But then he's got knight takes c6, and the counterattack on this. It might be simpler just to take on c5. If queen takes e5 check, bishop e3, I'm attacking a5 and f4. If he takes on c5, I take his knight, and if he doesn't do either, I just win d6. Alright. Okay, so queen f5. There's some weird thing with, like, trapping the queen, yet most people go for knight e7, but that allows queen c2 check. This cuts off his last escape square and just wins. Remember that problem because I was surprised at one point from it being rated so high. Alright, bishop e3 check, king g2. Takes. Check. 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 Queen takes d3, and surprisingly, you can't defend against this without losing in some other way. 16 points from 3,000. King g6. Alright, so there's some weird solution to this. I believe it's like c7. I got it. You queen so that he gets away from the g3 pawn, and then you check. 3,000. How long did it take me? 2 hours and 3 minutes. 3 minutes slower than I hoped. Well, this is still tactics, so let's keep going. The problem is, it's a little bit tougher. So, knight d3. This is an endgame problem. How hard can endgames be? Ha 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 ha. This is just ridiculous. If I take on d3, king takes d3, and the king handles one pawn, the bishop handles the other. He'll sacrifice the bishop for one pawn, and it'll just be equal. No, it's not my all-time high. My all-time high is somewhere around the 3300s. But I haven't been near there in some time. I think the move is bishop g2. But it's also possible it's h2. However, if h2... Wait, may be able to hold... Wait, h2... Knight e1... b2? Doesn't that just win? Yeah. So instead of that, h2 probably just meets like knight f2. Bishop g2, knight h1 check. Wait, no, then takes take... Yeah, that might be winning. Okay, can I... Okay, h2, knight f4? No, then b2. Wait, does this work? Yeah, because bishop g2, he just takes on b3, h2, knight f2. And there goes my 3000 rating. Okay, so b2, knight takes b2, bishop g2. Oh, you just play b2 first. Alright, so yeah, the point of that puzzle was the knight here is hoping to go to f2 to stop the h-pawn, and by distracting it and then the bishop, you make your pawn unstoppable. Yeah, I'll get it back. Don't worry about the rating. We've got an interesting position here. Black has a huge initiative, but he's down a couple pawns. So I'm going to be trying to mate him, of course. How, though? Rook h1, king g3. And do I even have any checks? No. Well, maybe rook takes h3, king takes h3, knight f4. But I think Blight can just go like king g4 there. And I don't have any discovered checks because he just takes my queen. So I can't really go for a rook sack. What about queen h1, king g2, king g3, sorry. Rook g1. Knight takes g1, queen takes g1, check. King h4, and yeah, you just block along the third rank. This is not going to work. Okay. I was thinking about getting fancy with like knight f4 with the idea queen takes f4, rook h1, and rook takes h3, but white just takes my queen. And then nothing works. So how can I increase the power of my attack? Maybe take on d4, knight takes d4, queen takes d4, f takes d4. Does that work? I don't think so. I don't want to exchange into an endgame if I can avoid it. Because that means my attack's a whole lot less strong than I thought. And it's not going to get any better. So, what should I do? This one's weird. I've never seen it before. Rook h1, king g3, knight f4, queen takes e4. Yeah, I don't. Hey, Lakatuba, how are you? I don't want to do. I don't think that works. Can I combine queen h1 with like knight g7? Okay, that's the most promising idea I've had so far, which isn't saying much, but queen h1 seems to be the strongest movement on a general principles basis. And naturally, it's wrong. Rook h1, king g3. Alright, queen f5. Oh. Queen f5 just traps the knight. Quiet moves in an attack. Some of the hardest moves to find. Alright, king to b2. I believe this one's mate. Queen takes b4 check. If king a1, then I should have a variety of moves. But wait, I don't really think I have any other choice. Okay, king c2, queen takes c3, king d1, bishop a4, and queen e3 is just mate. So king a1, definitely a stronger defensive option. What to do? Rook h8, rook a8 meets knight a2. And queen b3, rook f2. Queen a3, rook c2. So, is there a way I can, like, play queen b3, or, like, play queen a3 or something, but then knight a2? Perhaps I need to bring another piece into the attack with, like, bishop b5. Bishop b5, you can't take because rook a8's mate. Then, like, knight a2, and I don't really see a way forward. Weird. So, rook a8, knight a2. Rook takes a2 check? No, that can't work. I've only got a queen attacking, I can't bring the bishop in with tempo. Weird. Guess I gotta check. Okay. That wasn't wrong, that's a start. So what now, though? My queen's not under attack. I need to know that. I need to make that clear. Yeah, queen d8, king f7, queen takes d7. Yeah, that wouldn't work. So queen b3, rook f2. I could bring a bishop in, but it's really slow. It doesn't feel like it should work. Maybe it's queen a3, rook c2, bishop b5. At this point, that's the best option I got. Nope. What is it? Alright, king a1, rook a8, knight a2. Rook takes a2. What? That works? Oh. You're just going for perpetual. I wanted mate. Celtic Frost AA, thanks again for this time for a tier 1 sub to play the Grob. Much appreciated. Yeah, apparently there's no way to just mate him and you just gotta sack a rook and check till the end of time. Okay, this one's an attacking problem. I can probably brute force my way for this one. Rook takes g7, king takes g7, queen g5 check, king h8, e takes f6, rook g8's forced, queen h6, and rook g6, bishop takes g6. You can't stop both threats. Easy. Alright. Bishop b6. What now? So, I've got to be careful. Because if I could, the natural move queen b5 fails to knight c3 check. And I don't want to lose my queen. So I got to do something else. Can I try queen e1? Knight c5. I don't know if that's any good. Oh wait, in both cases, I have two candidates, queen e1 and queen to d2, and I need to decide between them both. if queen e2, queen e1, knight c5, then, or either of them, knight c5, then I get to play queen c3, which looks really promising and threatens like the rook and b4. I might just win the knight outright. So I need to see if there's anything different that he can play after either move. Queen e1, rook e4. That's a very good point, Chess Kid. Thanks. Yeah, I was thinking something more complicated of like queen a3, but I guess he doesn't have to do that. So with that in mind, I think queen d2 is definitely a stronger move. Thanks. Alright, so sometimes you get like caught up in the weird stuff and you forget to look at what's right in front of your face. So, interesting. In this position, material is actually... Yeah, likes up a piece. Okay, that's what I expected. I counted it normal at first and like, what? No, that's not right. So, how am I going to go about this? This seems like I should have just an immediate win. I need to check. Yep. So maybe rook takes e7. That's one of the options. Another option is to do a discovered attack on the f6 knight with something like knight c8. Or not knight d5, because he takes that. Or maybe knight c4. Something like that. Another option is to take on e7, and that seems more forcing, so I'm going to look at it first. Rook takes e7, king takes e7, queen a3, king to e8. And yeah, if king e6 is just horrible, you're bringing the king out. Or is it? Wait, what? Okay, I'm just a whole lot more confused now, because it looks like black may be able to get away with bringing his king via f5 to g6. Alright, rook takes e7 is a lot less forcing than I thought. There's a lot of variations. So I'm gonna look for a knockout blow here. Knight c8 looks promising. If the idea that he takes, I take on f6 with a double attack on h8 and e7. However, my opponent has a very annoying response in bishop e6. Blocking the attack on f6, blocking the attack on e7, and all just being an annoying move. Knight takes e7, king takes e7 is an interesting try for me, but I don't see a win. Rook takes e6, f takes e6, queen takes e6, and he just takes my knight, because I'm no longer threatening to take on f6. Maybe I play queen a3 now. Bishop e6 still seems like a tough nut to crack. Rook e1, bishop e6. Rook takes e6? No. There's nothing there. I need to stop bishop takes e6, and how do I do that? I take on d7. Knight takes d7. If he takes the rook, I take the knight. If he takes the king, he can't castle anymore, and my attack should succeed after like queen a7 and rook takes e7. If knight takes d7, rook takes e7, king takes e7, queen d6 check, and I win. Alright. Ah. This works. If he took on the a1, I wouldn't have to take back, I just made him. And now he castles, I take the rook, I take the bishop, and then I take the rook. This puzzle was rated 2731, but I solved it like 10 times longer than most people because I looked at weird stuff instead of the right move. Alright, so here I've got a choice. I think the right move is to take on f5 before I play d5, because if I play d5 first, he's no longer obligated to recapture on f5 with the pawn. If f5, knight e5, bishop takes f5, he has queen takes f5, which is annoying. I want him to have to take back the pawn. Or he just gives up that. That's fine too. Okay. I remember this puzzle. I hated it. Because the solution was something ridiculous, like bishop c1. Or maybe because I played bishop c1 and the right move was bishop e5. Yeah, that's it. Ah yes, it's just like knight g3 after bishop c1. Alright, now I believe the right move here is bishop to d4. Bishop takes d4, it comes with check, but I get to counter check him and then pin his rook wherever he goes. So, instead of that, he has to play something else, but then things look really good for me. Queen e2. Rook takes f6, rook takes f6, queen takes d6. Looks pretty, but then there's queen f1 mate. I don't want to do that. Alright. Alright then. Bishop takes f6, rook takes f6, queen e4, queen d5, and black's up a pawn. So I can't go into the pawn ending. Rook takes f6, and queen takes b7. Check, though. It looks pretty promising. And I don't see anything else. Apparently there was something else. Yeah, I think white runs into variations. Wait. Oh. Hello. I have no idea how to pronounce your name. Sorry, but hi. Okay. I guess we're breaking 3,000 again. So queen e1. I've got an attack, materials even. Obviously, I just take care. You couldn't take my rook because it's pinned. Okay, so king g6. It's going to be some sort of combination of queen checks and knight moves that somehow win the game. I believe it starts with... Believe it... Wait, what? Alright. Queen g4 check. If king h7, queen h5, king g8, queen e8. I have a perpetual, but is that seriously it? Is that seriously all I have? I feel like there should be some way to win the rook. With some fork, like on c8. But I really can't see how to make that happen. I also don't see any other candidates than queen h4. Not queen h5, rook h6. Yeah, the rook just jumps over the knight. I'm sure that works. Alright, king f6. It might just be a perpetual. In which case, queen h4 seems like the correct move. Wait, if there's a win in this variation, it means there's a win in the other variation. And that means I'm really bad at chess. Maybe it's something like just knight f5. Just straight up knight f5. Alright. King d6. What now? Rook d1, rook takes c2, queens. Check king f6? Oh. Rook c8 mate. Oops. Cancel out of that. h1 queen. Rook takes h4, rook d1, rook h8 mate. So I can't let the rook get to my side of the board. Instead, I guess I have to just play like b3. Or not. Rook d1, rook takes c2. How do I not get mated? It's check. Nice. Yeah, that's the solution. It's just good. We got it. King takes h6, rook h1 check, king g7, queen h8, king e7. I gotta check here. Or do I? Yeah, well, yeah, I do. Otherwise, rook g8. Queen d4 check? No, it's just f6. So do I check the rook on h7 or do I check the queen? Queen h7 allows king f8. And then I don't really have a way forward. Rook h7, king f8, and I don't know about a way forward either. Because rook h8, king e7 just seems... I don't know, it doesn't look like it has anything. Where's my win? Rook h7, king f8. What? I can't like play queen d4 because it's too slow. He just plays queen f5. F8, queen h6. Maybe. You know, that's the best idea. This is the best line I've looked at. I might as well try. Okay, so I've got this move right. I gotta double check for queen h6 before I start kicking myself. If it's wrong. Queen h6. King g8 is horrible, so he's gotta play king e7. Then I get rook e1, and he doesn't have king d6. Okay, king e7. Now, rook e1 check. King 2. E8. Check here. What? I thought it was, for sure it was just like, you know, king d8, queen h4. Yeah, but that allows f6, and you get to d8 safely. That's not something I wanted to happen. Oh! I earned that. Failure. Alright. g6. F takes g6, rook h8, king f7, and I don't win. I remember this one and I hate it. This puzzle is ridiculous. Because for some reason it matters which rook you take with. Oh, you mean on the previous puzzle? I don't think it was clearly winning. Knight f2. Alright, so I think here I check on f5, king g6. Can I go rook h6? King takes f5. Bishop f4. Bishop f7. Cutting off both the retreat squares. Then do I just take there? I don't know if it's that simple. He plays d2. It is that simple. Okay, I'm overthinking things. Alright. Rook takes g7, king takes g7, queen takes at d7, king h6, and if I take on d8, there's just a slight problem with queen e1 checkmate. So instead, after king h6, it might be necessary to just play, you know, queen h3 check, king g7, queen d7 with a perpetual. I hope not, because my position looks amazing and I hate to spoil it. I think the solution might just be queen takes d7, queen e1 check, rook f1. What? How is that not winning? Knight takes g5. I suppose that's better. Okay, I remember this one. Don't mess it up. f2. Queen takes g2, check, check, and mate. Puzzle rating 2844. Let's go. Rook takes e6. Rook to b8 check. King to rook e8. Rook queen h8. King f7. I don't know. That doesn't work. I want to go to rook f1, but he just takes it. I think I have to check on h8 with the queen, because that way I have a safe check with the rook. Okay, what's the mating technique? Queen h7, king f7. If king f6, rook f7, king e5. I don't know if that works. Queen g7. No, rook g7, king f5, queen to h5, king e4, queen f3, king d4, rook e4, rook g4, king e5, rook e4, king d5. Well, whatever. I remember that's the line. It just ends there. Okay. What's the variation? What's the variation? I know he can't take on e6. So f6 is a very reasonable candidate. And then my capture on f7 depends on what he does? Okay. What? The idea was that... Oh, come on. King takes f7, knight e4, bishop f5, check, king h8, and I can't take the knight because it's stalemate, and if I don't, he just wins my pawn. Can't win. I remember this one. The most ridiculous queen sacrifice on Tactics Trainer. Okay. My opponent's position is pretty threatening, I admit. How am I going to stop it from threatening things? I think I start with a check on e8. And as usual, I think wrong. I just take on d2. Play bishop e1. What the... Of course, you can't take it, yeah. Then I check, he can't, like, go to F file. Then I check and there's somehow mate. Alright. Knight takes c5, bishop takes c5, f takes d4. I'd go f4, but knight e6, f takes e3, queen takes f8, knight takes c7, ends up with an extra exchange. I have a lot of compensation, but there's no reason to go for that when I can just win. Okay, king d6, or king d7. King d7, bishop g4, I remember. c4. I want to play e7 check, king takes, bishop b3. And my opponent won't let me. So instead I do this, and now check, bishop d5, queens. 29.94. Alright, I feel like I should remember this one. Oh yeah. Queen takes f... Knight g5, king f6, I think? Or just king g5? Come on. King f6, knight d5, then king g5. You got no checks and rook up, knight g3 is made. Sorry, I clicked off that a bit too fast. Okay, bishop f4, e5, knight takes e5, king e6, rook takes c6. That looks like a mate to me. Oh, I have to stop king c7. I'm winning, but there is no mate. I'm getting less and less precise as time goes on. Queen a7, queen to c6, knight g5, h4, or just like rook a7, knight d6. Okay, that's sensible. And I infiltrate. After that, white's positionally winning. $3,000 again. White takes the rook, king takes f5, and surprisingly, there's no win. Okay. a7. That's my only real candidate, right? King b4, rook b3, and rook a3. Now I gotta decide between king a2 and b2. King a2, b4. Thank you for the 1,000 bits, Celtic Frost 88. Hang on. What's the line? b4. d4. d4! This move is just Whoa. Every move has a drawback. King d6? What? That's not king d6. King d6, knight f5. King f6, knight h5. King f4, knight h5. King e4, queens of check. King d5, queens of check. Takes, knight f5. Takes, and Basant, I just queen. And then have a total nightmare winning the queen and rook versus 2 pawns. Yep. What? Okay. b6. Fair. No. Bishop g2, queen g4, bishop f3, queen h3 offers draw. Yeah, no. That's not going to work. How am I going to ensnare the queen? Pretty sure it's the object of this exercise. To just, like, trap the queen. I don't see how. Is there a way I can stop queen from coming back to g4? Well, yeah, by keeping the bishop on f3, but then I don't trap it. Could be the aim of the exercise is completely different, but I don't really see anything else to attack. Except then bishop takes b6. C takes b6, rook takes b6. I don't know. Just knight d8 and he's fine. More than fine, he's up a piece. Bishop g2, queen g4, queen f2, h4. Bishop f3, queen h3. Leads nowhere. I have nothing. What about d4? With queen c4 coming up. I don't see how I trap the queen. So, might as well. Maybe it's bishop g5. That way he doesn't have I can play bishop h4 before playing bishop g2. That looks pretty promising. And I'm wrong. Bishop g2. Wait, if you take there, of course it's winning, but what if you just go back to g4? Queen g4. Okay, usually the answer's in the comments. And there are no comments. I'm analyzing that. That looks bogus. Bishop g2. Queen g4. Queen f1. With the idea h4, bishop f3, and the queen guards the square. Alright, I'll take that. Okay. King a4, knight c5, rook takes f3, knight d4. Nothing else works. King b4. Knight c4, knight e4. Alright, king c3, bishop e2. Rook f8. No, bishop takes, knight takes. Wait, no. It's bishop e2, rook f8, king g7. Do I not have anything? King c5? Maybe? No. I know it's king c3, but bishop e2, there's something I'm forgetting. Rook f8? No. Bishop takes e2, knight takes e2 check. King d3, knight f3, knight g3. Rook f3, knight h5, rook f5, in order to avoid the knight getting trapped to go back to g7 and then his back rank mate. This is one of those rare cases in which you actually win like that. Oh, wait, what? Pending, okay. That's like a puzzle rush. Okay, I check. Check, check an f1, right? King c2, queen e. Check, king here, check. If there's a faster checkmate and that's the reason this doesn't work, you gotta be kidding me. Wait a minute. Oh, he can escape via b1. My move doesn't win. Okay, now it makes more sense. Now it makes more sense. Alright, I want to play queen b8 and checkmate him on h8. Can I do that, please? Not waiting for an answer. Probably should have waited for an answer. Queen c3? Wait, how is exchanging queens? Well, yeah, I mean, it gives you a decisive positional advantage, but why is it the tactics puzzle if the answer is to just exchange into an endgame? Bishop takes e4, rook takes e4, knight g4, bishop takes g4, rook takes e4, bishop takes d1. That doesn't work. I want to win. Clearly. Just falling asleep. Bishop takes e4, rook takes e4, knight g4, bishop takes g4. The problem with that is that he's counter-attacking me on d1. Right. Not a back rank, mate. Bishop takes e4, rook takes e4. Yeah, that's a problem. If I want to play bishop takes e4, I just probably can't. To be honest. But then what's my move? Knight takes a5? Queen takes a5. Bishop takes e4? Rook takes e4. Knight g4, same problem. Bishop takes e4, rook takes e4. I have nothing. I have nothing. This is ridiculous. Knight g4 first, he just takes and then plays knight f2 and smothered mate. I'm gonna take an a5. Wait, no, knight f2. Do I have to take an e4? Knight c4. That might actually work. Pending. Why is it always these problems? Bishop takes f3. Well, I can't take with bishop, so... And escapes like this. That was surprisingly high rated. Or all the moves seem to force. Queen d6 check, and now I'm going to need to save my king. How am I going to do that? Bishop f4, h4 check, king f3, bishop d5. King takes g4. No, then queen e6 and then queen g6. That's bad. f4 maybe. h4 check, king f3. I'm up a full rook. I think I can do that. Sack some of the material back. Alright, yeah, the point I missed was that he can't take my bishop because his bishop's hanging. It's mutual hanging bishops. Can't afford to miss stuff like that. Alright, rook takes f5. If rook takes h6, rook f1 mate. Well, mate after he takes, and I take back, promoting to a queen. Queen takes f5, queen d2. And I get my queen out of under attack while threatening checkmate. Bishop c3, queen takes e1, and she takes f5. What? Alright. f6, rook takes e6. Well, I've got two options. Queen takes e6 and rook takes e6. Queen takes e6. If he takes my queen, I'm good. If he takes my rook, I check him and win. If he takes... I check him and take on e4. If he takes my queen, I take on e7. If he checks on f7, I take. If he goes queen g6, I play rook at e to f7. Rook e3. Interesting. e4 check meets king e2, and he seems to escape. Queen to d6 check meets king e2, and he definitely escapes after that. Queen f5 check looks a little bit more awkward because it stops the knight from coming to f5, but it actually seems like a stronger move, and all things considered. Actually, if the goal's a perpetual... Well, actually, queen f5, king c3, so e4 seemed like the only way to get a perpetual. Wait, queen f1's legal? Completely missed that. Okay, white has a lot of pawns, but I have a knight and bishop, and they're pretty decent pieces. I think it's just knight c6. King f5, knight d4 check, and knight e6. King takes e6, g7. I mean e6, and then e7. It's a problem. Since I gotta go here. No, knight takes e5, right? Okay. Rook takes f3. Odd. I think I play knight e5. If he takes an h3, f7, and I queen, Rook takes f6, king g7, and the rook is trapped. Everywhere he can go meets a fork. King h7, and now I'm thinking maybe bishop takes h6. Looks promising. G takes h6, queen to e7 check, and queen takes f6 looks winning. If rook to d6, queen e7, rook d7, bishop takes g7 check. Well, I didn't consider that. Guess I take it. Alright, that's a little bit trickier to respond to. I want to keep my rook on the h-file. Or do I? Queen e4 check, king h3. Yeah, I don't want him to be able to just take back with no repercussions. King h1, queen e4, king g1. Knight f3, rook takes f3. Queen takes f3. Doesn't look good. King f2. That might actually work. Alright. We get 3,000 again. And yeah. I guess that'll be it for today. Not really doing great in this puzzles. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you stop by, I'm going to be about 24 hours from now, maybe a little bit longer, I don't know, due to Twitch's policy. I'll be posting a replay of this on YouTube. So if you missed any of that, you can watch it there, or just look in the video on demand. Though that disappears after 14 days or so. The video won't. I haven't uploaded much, but I'm starting to upload again a little bit more often, and yeah. So thanks for watching. Follow for notifications when I go live, and I'll see you all later this week. Monday at Arena Kings, or maybe even tomorrow. Bye.